This painting sold at Christie's for a record-breaking price. The world saw a fierce bidding war, flashbulbs popping, and a flood of headlines the next morning. But what if I told you the outcome was essentially decided 6 months before the auction even began, in a secret contract? It's called a guarantee, and it means the final hammer price isn't always the real. We're going to show you 5 secret deals that prove the real game happens long before the doors ever open. And sometimes, in the obsession to win, the house loses big. When you picture a high-end art auction, you probably imagine a scene of pure, high-stakes capitalism. A room buzzing with energy, millionaires and billionaires, paddles in hand, locked in a battle of egos and bank accounts. The auctioneer, a master of ceremonies, orchestrates the drama, coaxing bids higher and higher until that final, fateful crack of the gavel. This is the myth the art world sells you. It's a story of open competition, where the highest bidder wins and the market fairly decides the value of a masterpiece. It's exciting, it looks transparent, and it's the image that auction houses like Sotheby's and Christie's spend millions to project. But behind the velvet ropes and the champagne, there's a different story playing out. It's one of backroom deals, hidden agreements, and complex financial instruments that can shape a sale before a single paddle is raised. The public auction is often just the final act of a play where the script has already been written. And the key to this hidden market is one financial tool, the guarantee. So what exactly is a guarantee? At its simplest, it's a promise. An auction house, or sometimes a wealthy third party, promises a seller a minimum price for their artwork, no matter what happens in the auction room. If the bidding soars past that price, the seller is happy. If the bidding stalls and fails to meet that minimum, the guarantor buys the work for the promised price or pays the seller the difference. For the seller, this removes all the risk. They get the certainty of a sale, which is a powerful reason to give a major collection to one auction house over its rival. For the auction house, it's a high-stakes tool to win business. But for the market, it changes everything. It creates a hidden floor price that the public can't see. This isn't just an insurance policy. It's a competitive weapon. And in some cases, these guarantees are so enormous, so risky, that they lead to staggering losses, revealing that the true goal was never just about the public auction. These 5 cases prove it. Case 1. The pre-sold masterpiece, the Gans Collection, 1997. Our first case takes us back to 1997, to what was billed as the sale of the century, the auction of the Victor and Sally Gans collection at Christie's. The Ganses had a legendary collection of modern art, and its sale was a landmark event, pulling in a record $206.5 million. It was seen as the start of the modern art boom. The public saw a triumph, but years later, the Panama Papers leak revealed a secret. 6 months before the auction, the most valuable works had been effectively bought by an offshore company, and the person controlling that company, Joe Louis, a billionaire currency trader who also happened to be Christie's largest single shareholder. The deal was layered. Christie's officially had a subsidiary buy the works, which then immediately sold them to Lewis's offshore company for $168 million. That company then consigned them back to Christie's for the public auction. While the catalogue noted Christie's had a direct financial interest, the full extent of this insider arrangement was hidden. The record-breaking auction wasn't a complete fiction. Real people were still bidding, but it was the final, public settlement of a pre-arranged, high-level financial deal orchestrated by a major insider. Case 2. The Strategic Loss, the Taubman Estate, 2015. Sometimes, a guarantee isn't about making a profit on the auction. It's about winning at all costs. In 2015, the estate of a former Sotheby's chairman, A. Alfred Taubman, was up for grabs. Both Christie's and Sotheby's wanted it desperately. To beat its rival, Sotheby's made an astonishing offer, a $515 million guarantee for the entire collection, the largest in auction history for a single collection. They were betting the house. The bet didn't quite pay off. The auctions brought in around $377 million with fees, falling short. In the end, Sotheby's announced a loss of about $12 million on the deal, factoring in the shortfall and other costs. So why do it? Because the guarantee was a strategic weapon. Sotheby's couldn't stand the thought of its rival selling the collection of its owners. Former chairman, the public auction results were secondary to winning the consignment. The real transaction was the $515 million promise. The auction that followed was just the process of managing the massive risk Sotheby's had already taken on. Case 3. The Market Crash Reality Check, Sotheby's 2008. Guarantees work well in a rising market, but they can become a black hole when the economy turns. In the fall of 2008, as Lehman Brothers collapsed and the global financial crisis took hold, the art market got a brutal reality check. Just weeks before the crash, Damien Hirst's Beautiful Inside My Head Forever auction at Sotheby's in London was a massive success, seemingly defying economic gravity. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding. The auction houses had written millions of dollars in guarantees during the boom years, expecting prices to keep climbing. As the crisis hit, auctions began to fail. Works with huge guarantees were selling for far below the promised price, or not at all. Suddenly, the auction houses were on the hook. While numbers varied, reports indicated that both houses were left holding tens of millions of dollars in art they had guaranteed. The losses weren't always obvious from individual results, but were buried in quarterly reports, revealing the hidden liabilities these secret contracts had created. It showed that the real risk wasn't a single painting failing to sell, but the entire system built on the assumption the party would never end. Case 4. The Big Win, Bigger Loss. The Smook Collection 2001. Long before the 2008 crisis, the auction house Phillips de Pury in Luxembourg made a bold play to challenge the dominance of Sotheby's and Christie's. To do it, they used a massive guarantee to snag the prized modern art collection of Nathan and Marion Smook. The auction in November 2001 was presented as a success, but reports quickly surfaced that the guarantee promised to the Smook estate was enormous. While Phillips never confirmed the figure, Art World sources estimated the guarantee was somewhere between $180 million and $200 million, on a sale that brought in just over $100 million. This led to widespread speculation that Phillips had lost tens of millions. This was a classic case of using a guarantee to buy market share. By offering an irresistible sum, a smaller player could land a collection that would otherwise go to its bigger rivals. But it also exposed the core truth of the guarantee. The contract is the main event. If the auction doesn't perform, the house pays a price almost never revealed to the public watching the bidding. Case 5. The Hedged Bet, the Macklowe Collection 2022. Our final case is the most modern and financially engineered of all. The 2022 sale of the Macklowe Collection was the most valuable collection ever sold at auction, totaling an incredible $922.2 million over 2 sales. But look closer, and you'll see the modern evolution of the guarantee. Every single lot in the second sale was guaranteed, but Sotheby's wasn't shouldering all that risk itself. For many of the lots, they used what's called an irrevocable bid, or a third-party guarantee. Here's how it works. The auction house offloads the risk to an outside financier. Before the sale, a wealthy collector or investment fund agrees to place a binding, secret bid on a work. If no one bids higher, they buy it. If the work sells for more, the guarantor gets a cut of the profit for taking on the risk. For the Macklowe sale, this meant that a huge portion of the headline-grabbing total was secured before the first paddle was raised. The competition in the room was real, but only above a floor price secured by hidden bidders who had already made their moves. This is the art market of the 21st century, a complex web of financial agreements where the public spectacle is just the tip of the iceberg. These 5 receipts reveal a consistent truth. The public art auction is often a performance. The real economic event is frequently the guarantee, a private contract that shifts risk, influences outcomes, and concentrates power. This system creates a massive information imbalance. A third-party guarantor knows the secret minimum price and has a financial advantage over every other bidder in the room. It can turn the auction from a place of open price discovery into an event where the downside is already covered and the outcome is shaped in advance. More importantly, it inflates the market. Guarantees are used to win consignments, forcing auction houses to offer ever higher minimums. These guaranteed numbers become the new baseline, creating an artificial price structure that has less to do with organic demand and more to do with the strategic battles between a few powerful players. So, the next time you see a headline about a record-breaking art sale, remember these secret contracts. Remember that behind the gavel, the applause, and the eye-watering prices, there is a hidden architecture of guarantees, irrevocable bids, and private deals. The drama of the auction room is compelling, but the real story is often written in the fine print of a contract signed months earlier. It's a story not just about art, but about money, risk, and the gap between what we see on stage and how the game is really played. The hammer price is never the whole story. In the high-stakes world of fine art, the real deal is the one you never get to see.